So what are some things you should know before learning how to write a song? In this video, I'm going to share 3 things that I believe are going to set you up for successful songwriting endeavors. Make sure you watch to the end because I'm going to share some of the tools that I use in my own music creation and songwriting. Let's go!
Just watch it go! See how I do it!
Hey, my name is Bori Afolabi. I'm a #1 charting Billboard songwriter. I'm a musician, I'm a singer, producer, and an engineer. I want to welcome you to my channel where I share some of my own music, my process, and of course, where songwriting gets attention. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I've got a free gift for you. Go ahead and click on the link in the description. It'll bring you to my website where you sign up for my mailing list, and you'll get a free copy of my ebook called The Songwriting Process. So, 3 things. #1, songwriting is work. There's no way around that. It's work, it's work, it's work, it's work. It's hard work. In life, anything you want to succeed at, anything you want to excel at or be the best at, it's going to involve some real time and work and effort. And of course, consistency and perseverance and all the things that come along with that, right? Songwriting is absolutely no different. There's a songwriter named Dallas Green from the band Alexis on Fire and also City and Color. And I heard him on the radio a little while back talking about going into the studio when he was ready to write a new record and just jumping in and thinking that things were going to be easy, but finding himself very frustrated with his process because he had totally forgotten that songwriting is work. And he was sharing on the radio how he went back home, stopped the whole process for a while, took some time off to kind of regather himself, and then he went back in with the idea and the understanding that this is just going to be work. And once he picked that up again, he started, he was in the studio, he got the record done, and it turned out to be fantastic. So that's something I heard on the radio. I took that to heart. This was a while ago, but I took it to heart, and I know it's very true because I've tested it. So that's one thing. Second thing is that action precedes motivation. So for me, sometimes I use the excuse of lack of motivation as a reason why I'm not producing or writing enough music. And what I've learned and what I've started to apply, what I've learned and I've been applying in my own life, in my own musical journey, is simply that to be motivated, you have to start the process. The motivation comes after you've started the work. I've got a home studio. Sometimes it's hard to separate work from home because it's just a few steps down, right? But if I'm going to be successful, if I'm going to actually get some work done, I have to come down here and work, right? So the first step is getting down there, picking up a guitar or an instrument or whatever inspires you, pick it up and start working. Once you start working, you'll find very, very soon that you don't want to stop. Why? Because you're already started, the juices are flowing, the creative juices, and you're already into what you're doing, and now you're motivated to continue because you're in it already. So that's huge. So songwriting is going to be work, and of course, motivation comes after you've started what you're supposed to do. Okay, my second point, tools matter. Okay, I know that sounds very basic again and elementary, and all of these 3 things are elementary in the sense that we're starting, it's a starting point for songwriting. So tools matter. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, the first thing is, if you're going to be a songwriter, I would recommend that you learn how to play an instrument. And there are some practical and obvious reasons for this, but I think it's for me, I find it difficult to write a song without an instrument. I might get ideas without an instrument, but actually developing those ideas and creating a whole song is next to impossible for me to do without an instrument. So learning an instrument can really help your songwriting. It can help you with creating textures and emotions. It's a good way to musically support what it is you want to communicate. So you need instruments to write songs, I guess. Most people start with guitar or piano. Actually, a majority of people write from either of those 2 instruments. Not all, but a lot of people do. If you already know how to play and you're not confident enough in your abilities, then I would recommend practicing, okay? So, learn an instrument. That's your basic tool for songwriting. Another tool that you might not think of as a tool is actually a location. Where you decide to write or where you work in terms of songwriting really matters. It does affect how you write or what you write. Atmosphere makes a difference. So, for example, some people, like myself, I write well in different places, but I write differently depending on the setting or where I am. Whenever I'm upstairs, I grab my guitar. It's an open room. It's my house, right? It's an open room, and the acoustics up there are actually very different. So if I'm playing guitar up there, and say like in the stairwell or something, it sounds really full and rich, and that actually inspires me, and it might help me write something different. It might provoke a different emotion. Whereas sometimes I'm down here and I have the speakers blaring and I'm writing something maybe from an electronic foundation or something, and I'm not holding an instrument. It's a little different. So some people, it might be getting out in the woods. Some people, it might be just sitting on their front porch. But a location is also a tool that factors into your songwriting. So keep that in mind when you write. Some people might need a place to get away and just be alone with their thoughts so they can focus and concentrate and really kind of get what's here out on paper or out on notes, right? So that's something to think about. Okay, third thing I want to share with you is that songwriting is a science, or at least there is science involved in songwriting. And by that, I mean there are things that are proven to work better than others. There are certain tempos, there are certain structures, there are certain things that work better with certain emotions. So songwriting is not just a general one way, one street. There's so much involved in the process of creating a song, and there are different avenues that you can take depending on what you want to do. The bottom line is this: there are tools, right? There's all this stuff called information, right? And then there's all this stuff called inspiration. And I borrow this from John Mayer because he's a great example of a songwriter. And when you understand these two things, then you can bring them together to create something. You have a song, okay? So your tools, your notes, your musical theory, your everything involved in the actual creation of the song, the tangible stuff, that stuff is your information. And then your emotion, your thoughts, your ideas, things that you actually want to express, that stuff is your inspiration. Glue them together, you have a song. There's a science to this. So that's the three things that I think are important to understand before you get started. So that's pretty much it. Okay, question of the day. What kind of locations inspire you and influence your songwriting? Let me know in the comments below. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. And if this information has been helpful or valuable to you and you want to continue with me on my journey as a songwriter, go ahead and hit subscribe. Also, don't forget about the free gift that I said. It's called The Songwriting Process, and it's an ebooklet that I wrote. You can access it through the link below in the description. It'll bring you to my website where you can sign up for the mailing list, and from there, it'll be in your mailbox. If there's anything you'd like for me to discuss or cover in future videos, go ahead and let me know in the comments below as well. I love hearing from you guys, and I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure that songwriting gets attention.
Yeah. Just watch me go. See how I do it.
Like I promised earlier, check out some of the tools that I use in my own songwriting. Before I start, I get down with the tea. Okay, so here's some of the tools that I use personally in my own songwriting and my musical creations. The first one is called the Digital Audio Workstation, or a DAW, and basically that's just a recording program. Today, studios are much smaller than they used to be because of technology. Fortunately, we can do a lot now. I use the DAW because it helps me to arrange my music and to be able to look at the parts that I have and put them in certain ways that I think will work best for the song or for the arrangement. And it allows me to visualize and actually hear back what I'm imagining early on in the process. Quickly, some of the DAWs that I would recommend, or there are all kinds out there, but I use Cubase personally. But there's also Pro Tools, there's Logic, there's Audacity, there's Studio One. They're all pretty much the same. Find one that you're comfortable in, or one that you can learn quickly and learn well, and I would recommend you sticking with it. And that's pretty much it for that. The second tool is my trusted phone. And as you can see, I use an iPhone, but any phone will work. Most phones today come with some kind of recording device, both for audio and for video. Now, I say audio and video for two reasons. One, I use audio when I'm capturing something where I just have a quick idea and I just want the sound. But often if I'm using like a guitar or something like that and I want to be able to see the chords that I'm playing so I can remember them and refer to them later, I will use the video portion of my phone. So I'll actually record a video of me playing the chords close up so I can see it while I'm singing, and I'll get both the idea visually and acoustically. So that's a really good tip there for remembering things when you're writing. The third thing is, of course, the trusted instrument. I often write from guitar, and I also write from piano, and sometimes I write from electronic loops and whatnot. But pick an instrument. This is mine, right? A very basic acoustic guitar, not too expensive, but it does the job and helps me to develop my ideas and get them out. And the last tool, is trusted pen and the trusted paper, right? Writing an idea down is very basic. I think everybody who is a songwriter, or most people that are songwriters, would know that you need some kind of way to capture your lyrics. And for me, it's pen and paper. Some people love using the computer or their phones to type lyrics. Personally, I just like using a pen and paper because it's just the fastest way and most natural for me. Find what works for you, but find a way to capture it. Pen and paper never fails. All right? And I do chew my pens. Sorry. All right. That's it.